Hey guys, this is Blake. Let's take a quick look at the all-new M65 Pro. This mouse is used for competitive gaming, so we took everything that was great about the original M65 and improved upon it. First up, we've changed the sensor to an optical version and increased the maximum DPI to 12,000. It also features an advanced surface calibration system, so that means it'll adapt to just about any surface that you place it on. The M65 Pro is built with premium materials. It utilizes aircraft-grade aluminum, so that means it's durable and lightweight. And these PTFE glide pads ensure precise movement with minimal effort. The M65 Pro has an advanced weight tuning system, so you can adjust it to your preference. It has 8 buttons, including a sniper button, so when you press it down, it'll drop your DPI really low so you can make your fine adjustments, and then once you release it, you're back to normal DPI. I also want to mention the heavy-duty scroll wheel. It's got a metal core wrapped in rubber for maximum grip. It's got arm-on switches that are rated for 20 million clicks, so it's going to be super reliable. The M65 Pro is powered by the Corsair utility engine. It allows you to set your macros, adjust your button configuration, or just customize your RGB lighting. That's a quick look at the Corsair M65 Pro. It comes in either black or white, so make sure you check it out at corsair.com for more information. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.